In this tutorial, we will be discussing prefixes and equalities. So one good thing about the metric system and the SI system is the fact that everything is based off of 10. So that's why you can move the decimal place from one position to another and change what the number means in that manner. It just makes the calculations a lot easier, and that's where prefixes come in. So for instance, milligrams is little m. Micrograms, notice that there's two different abbreviations there. It's actually the lowercase nu, which is a Greek symbol. It's like a long line and then a U. This other version, the MC, is what we kind of use in the medical field now. So if you look at vitamins or something like that, you might see MCG, which means micrograms. Alright, so what do these prefixes mean, and how much bigger or smaller are they? So these are all the ones that increase the size. So these are all bigger than the base. So tera and giga are pretty much what you're going to see in computers, whereas giga is a billion and tera is a trillion. So when you buy a 1 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive, you're getting something that's 1 trillion times bigger than a byte. If you're getting like 5 gigabytes, you're getting 5 billion times bigger than a byte. And then megabytes, or mega, is 1 million. And then kilo is something we use fairly commonly and universally. And that is when we do 1,000 times bigger. So for instance, kilometer or kilograms is 1,000 times bigger than a gram or a meter. Now these are all smaller. These decrease it. So deci, lowercase d, is 1/10. So it would take 10 deciliters to equal 1 liter. This is also written 0.1. Now they tend to use the decimal version here just to make it simple. If we go back here, these are all numbers that would go in front of the base unit. So meters, meters, meters. So 1 billion meters is equal to 1 gigameter. They've done it this way so that way we can use the same thing. So centimeters, meters, meters. So we can say 0.01 meters is equal to 1 centimeter. They're trying to make it consistent. I personally prefer full numbers, the whole numbers. The 100 centimeters is equal to a meter, 1,000 milliliters is equal to a liter, things along those lines. If you prefer the decimal, that's fine. It's totally up to you. The number's going to come out the same. Pico is what we typically use for measuring the size of an atom, just to put it in perspective. Nano, you see that often with physics and with the speed of light. And then micro, milli are what the medical profession uses a lot for like drugs and stuff. Okay, so the relationship of the prefix to a unit can be expressed by replacing the prefix with a numerical value. So kilometer is 1,000 meters. Kiloliter is 1,000 liters. Kilograms is 1,000 grams. That 1,000 always goes with kilo. Just like 100 centi always goes with centi. So centimeters equal to 1 meter. That 100 will always go with centi. The prefix and the actual numerical value are always paired up 100% of the time. This just gives you an idea of the different kinds of things that are out there as far as how the units are used in the medical field. So for instance, grams, we need 44 grams. We need a larger amount. So we're just going to keep it at grams. Whereas vitamin C, 60 milligrams. So milli is 1,000 milligrams is equal to 1 gram, or 0.001. So this turns into be 0.060 grams. So notice how it's much smaller, but we tend to like to have whole numbers, like I was just saying. So they change it to different prefixes so that they can still take the same amount. So they can still have whole numbers. So for instance, 6 micrograms is the same thing as 0.000006 grams. Once again, we like to have whole numbers rather than decimal numbers, and so therefore we've changed it to micro. All right, so we can fill in these blanks here. 1,000 meters is the same as 1 kilo, so because 1,000 goes with kilo. This 0.1 times 10 to the negative 3 is the same thing as 0.001. That's going to be a small one. So 0.001 is milli. And then 0.01 is the same thing as centi. This is straight memorization. So when you go back here to the previous slides, memorize these. Memorize these. There's no way around it. You just simply have to memorize it. You have no other option. All right, so let's take a look at this ruler here. We talked a little bit before about increments and the dashes between. Well, you'll see here, if you actually examine, what I was saying is from 10 to 20, that's a difference of 20. Now count the little increments in between, and you have 9, and then the next one, it would be 10. So there is a distance of 10, and then there's 10 increments. So for every increment is equal to 1 centimeter. 1 increment is equal to 1 centimeter. So that means every single time that's in there is 1 increment. Now if we broke this down even more, that's how we get millimeters. So it gets broken down again by 10. So each time is a change of 10. So there's 10 millimeters in a centimeter, 10 centimeters in a decameter, 10 decameters in a meter. All right, you've heard me talk before about cubic centimeters, or they also call them cc's. In the older ER shows, they still refer to cc's, but I think they've changed over to mLs now because this is now standard. But cc's and mLs are exactly identical. They are interchangeable. So as a nurse, you're going to have to make sure that you're able to go from one to the other in your head without even thinking. And a lot of it might depend on your environment. For instance, if you're in a hospital that has a lot of turnover, that doctor might be used to the mLs. If you're in an older physician's office, that doctor might be used to cc's. In either scenario, you need to be able to change it interchangeably in your head without even questioning. And if you're not, the doctor might get annoyed with you, and we don't want that. But they're actually the exact same. So here's 1 centimeter cubed. So cc's actually means cubic centimeters. 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter. So centimeter times centimeter times centimeter. We have 1, 2, 3. That's how we get centimeters cubed. And that is identical to 1 milliliter. So here's 1 milliliter. So when you visit the doctor's office for a physical examination, they're going to record different values, and these prefixes allow them to do it easily. Notice we're not even looking at pounds or ounces or anything like that. That's specifically because these are metric and SI. If we're dealing with pounds or ounces or pints or whatever, we won't be able to do an easy conversion. It'll be a lot more tedious, which is why they're trying to keep us converting over to the metric system. All right, so quick check. Which is larger, millimeters or centimeters? Centimeters are bigger. Kilometers or kilograms or centigrams? Kilograms are bigger. Milliliters are micro. Milliliters are bigger. Kiloliters or microliters? Kiloliters are bigger. And that's an overview of the prefixes.